In this video, I'm going to walk you through the steps to create this cute greeting card. You can customize it however you like and create cards for any occasion whatsoever. In the description below, I've included links for different products that you need to create your own greeting cards, such as 8.5 by 11 cardstock and the envelopes to put them in. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel and giving it a thumbs up, and perhaps leave a comment and let us know what you think. To get started making your greeting card, you need to set up your template. The first thing you need to do is go into File, New, and when this box opens, on the very right hand side, for width you enter in 11. Make sure the unit is set to inches. For height you want 8.5 and resolution is 300 pixels per inch. So most likely your card is going to be printed on a sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. This page is set up as 8.5 by 11, which is your standard letter size. We're going to add a guide at 5.5. That's just to split it down the middle. So to do that, you just hover your mouse over your ruler on your left hand side of your document, hold your mouse button and drag. And this will drag a guide, and wherever you position it and let your mouse button go, that's where your guide will be. So now we have this guide set up directly in the middle. This is going to be the fold line of the card. So we're going to start with the cover of the card. The cover of the card is going to be everything to the right of this guide. So we'll start by getting our rectangular marquee tool, hover it over the guide, and just drag out your rectangle. Let it go. Now your rectangle is selected, and that's the cover of your card. So we're going to fill this in. Let's give it a nice blue color. So we're going to get our paint bucket tool. We're going to go down here into our color picker here and set our foreground color to, let's see, some kind of a navy blue, I think. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, so we'll just flood fill that area. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm thinking that we're going to make this card for a man that's turning 65 years old. So let's just deselect this now because we have it filled in. To do that, you just hit Control D and it takes the selection off. So now I need to find some graphics to put on this background for the cover of our card. So I'm just going to go into my VECTEEZY account. So now that you've got your template set up, you need to find some graphics to put on the cover of your card. Personally, I use VECTEEZY. It's a site, I think I pay $14 a month US for it. It's my go-to for all the graphics that I use. Once you're signed up, you've got access to all kinds of different graphics. So we're going to look for a PNG with a transparent background. Right now it's set to vectors. If you click on this arrow, go down, you can select PNG. I'm going to type in a search for birthday and see what comes up. So it gives you a huge variety of different PNGs. They all have transparent backgrounds, and you can download these and use them. Let's see, what do we want for that card? We can change the color. If the graphics don't match the color, we can change the color. Okay. For orientation, we haven't chosen anything. I'm going to choose vertical because that'll give us more of a portrait size graphic if there's any orientation to it, if they're not totally square. So I think I'm going to download. I don't really see much here that I want. I'm going to try vectors. Vectors. Okay. Again, these are mostly set to portrait or landscape orientation. We want portrait. So if we go down, we can choose vertical here, and it should give us some graphics that are more of a portrait orientation. Now it says vectors. When you download these files, it comes in two formats. It comes in a vector format so that you can go in and edit each element of the design in Illustrator. Or you can choose the PNG or the JPEG version, which is just a flat file that you can pop into your card. Okay, I kind of like this one. Let's go with this one. So I'm going to open that up. I'm going to download it. Because I'm subscribed, there's no attribution required. I can use this graphic. I just can't resell the design. Okay, so it's downloaded. Comes as a zip file. I'm going to double click. Okay, so EPS would be an editable file that you can open in Illustrator. And JPEG is just flat file. We're going to go with the flat file. So I'll just double click on this. I don't even need to unzip it. And that should open it up in Photoshop. So there's our graphic. So we want to take this graphic now and put it on the cover of our card. We're going to ditch the blue background because I kind of like this. So let's just bring up our layers palette here. To bring up layers palette, you just hit F7. Okay. So I'm going to just hit Control A. That'll select the whole image. And I'm going to hit Control C. Now I'm going to go back into my birthday card, and I'm going to hit Control V. So your card image that you've chosen from VECTEEZY is now pasted into your birthday card document, but you can see it's way too big. So to fix this, we're just going to hit Control minus, and that'll zoom out our document a bit. So with your layer selected of the image that you just pasted in, just hit Control T. Now that puts some handles on the image, and now you can drag and resize. If you look up top here, you're in the transform mode. You can see that the maintain aspect ratio button is selected. So what that means is if you grab a corner and drag it, it also changes not only the height, but it changes the width as well. So it keeps it proportionate. Be careful you don't rotate it like I just did. Hit Control Z if you happen to do that. Okay, so we'll just size it to about where we think it should be. Drag it up and lay it over the right hand side of your card. And just drag it down until you get it exactly where you want it. Doesn't quite fill the whole background. So I don't think it matters if this is stretched a little bit vertically. So because the maintain aspect ratio button is on, when you go to drag it, just put your mouse button over your So because that aspect ratio button is selected, if you drag it like this, it'll make it wider as well. So we don't want to do that. We just want to make it longer. So in order to override that, just hit on your shift key and just drag it down, and it'll make it a little bit longer without stretching it out horizontally. Okay, so hit enter. I don't think we need to do much else with this. We could put happy birthday dad, or happy birthday uncle, or happy birthday godfather, or whatever. This looks like a Pacifico font. Let's see if I have that. I might be able to personalize it a bit. I think Pacifico, if you need to get it, you can go on to defont.com and search Pacifico, and it will show up there, I'm pretty sure. Let's try Pacifico. P-A-C-I-F-I-C-O. Pacifico. It's close enough, I think. I think it's very close to that. So I got that font chosen. It's at a 85, or sorry, a 89. Time to get my glasses changed. So we click on our type tool here, horizontal type tool. Just click anywhere on your document. Yeah, it's very similar. Okay, let's try Godfather. Let's say you're making a card for your godfather. Alright, so we're going to position it, and then we'll change the color. way too big. So let's double click on that. We're going to take it down from 89 to about a, let's try a 48. That looks pretty good. Okay. So up here for color, because I have it already chosen and already selected, if I go up here and click in this little swatch at the top here, set text color, if you click in there, it'll bring up your color picker. So it'd be kind of cool if we had it exactly the same color as the happy birthday here. So let's just, because our color picker came up where a little eyedropper tool is here, we can click in the happy birthday color. There you go. Okay, so we got our text for our front of our card. Now we're just going to reposition that. We can put it in center. I think that looks pretty good there. Okay, so that would be it for our front cover of our card. So now you can save that. Save it as whatever you want. If you're in Photoshop and you'd like to reuse this, before you save it as a PNG or a JPEG or whatever, it's a good idea to save it as a PSD file, because that way you still have your layers, and if you want to change this later on to happy birthday cousin or whatever, your text layer will still be editable. Okay. So now that we got the front of our card done, we're going to work on the inside. So if you're saving this as a PSD file for use later on down the road, what you might want to do is keep this information already in there. So what you need to do is you need to go to your layers palette and you need to select all the layers. Actually, this layer, background layer, we can get rid of that. Let's just turn the little lock off. We click it and we hit our delete key, and that'll get rid of that layer. We don't need that background. Okay, so just hold your shift key and click on the text layer as well. Now that you have both layers selected, you can hit G, and that puts it into a group. So just double click on group and we'll say card cover. Okay, so we have our card cover created. So what we're going to do is turn the visibility off on this. And now we're back to the original template file. So now we're going to get started on the inside of our card. So what do you say to your godfather on his birthday? I don't know. I do have a godfather, but I don't think I've ever sent him a birthday card. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to one of the newest tools out there now, and I find it very handy when I'm stuck for words. It's called ChatGPT. Most people have probably heard of it. It's very interesting. You can ask it pretty much anything and it'll give you an answer. So I've been asking it all kinds of stuff. So let's go in here, new chat. You have to sign up for it. Just put in your email address and stuff. Okay, so now it's going to ask us, what do we want? Let's just make this a little bit more easier for you to see here. So what do I want to know? Send a message. I'm going to send it a message. I'm going to say, please, try to be polite with this thing. Give me something I can put on the inside of a birthday card for my godfather. So when you hit enter, it gets to work for you. Sure, here's some messages you can write inside a birthday card for your godfather. So it's going to give you a big list, probably 10, 5 or 10. Okay, so it gave me 5 messages. I'm just reading down through them here now. Okay, this number 5 is really nice. I like that. Happy birthday to the most amazing godfather ever. May your day be filled with happiness and surrounded by your loved ones. Thank you for being a constant source of love and support in my life. Okay, so I'm going to go with that one. So to do that, I'm just going to highlight it and copy it. So highlight, hit Control C. Now you can go back to your template. Okay, I was using the Pacifico font. I think I might stick with that. I am going to give this a white layer so that you can see the text. Right now it's a transparent layer. So I'm going to add new layer, Shift Control N. And I'm going to fill that with white. Okay. If you want to fill it with like an off-white, a baby blue, any color you want. Let's put it in like an off-white color. So to get an off-white, you just get your white. Right now it's white. It's 6 Fs for the hex code, and that's a true white, which means that the printer won't lay down any color at all. That's kind of a nice color. Just slightly down. You just choose your color slightly down from your true white. So you hit OK. Let's flood fill that so that it's not totally white and bland. Okay. So now when you print this out, the printer will print the whole sheet of paper. You might not want to do that. You might be wanting to save ink. But if you do, keep it at white. If you don't care about the ink, you can add a little bit of a hint of color there. So now that you've got your card filled in with your color that you want, you're going to add some text. You're going to add the text that we just got out of ChatGPT. So it should be still in our clipboard. So what you need to do is you need to get the rectangular tool here. The rectangle tool. I was using it earlier, so I have a radius on it. Don't worry about it. You just want to drag and give it the information as to where you want your text pasted. So we want our text pasted within this area. So get your horizontal type tool, click in this area. It'll give you some mumbo jumbo text here. Because it's already highlighted, you just have to hit Control V and it'll paste your text that you copied into that area. You can see that it's kind of big. So just double click on it again, hit Control A. We're going to change the font size down from a 48 down to a, say, a 24. Okay. And in my case here, the distance between the lines is way too big. And I think the text is a tiny bit too small. So instead of a 24, let's change it to a 36. Okay. So we're going to, it cuts it off down here. You don't get it all. But when we decrease the space between the lines, it'll give you plenty of room here. So with this text selected, we're going to go into Window, open up Character. You only need to do this if your text is too far apart. So this setting is what you need to change. So right now it's set to 69. We want to change it close to the text size. So text size is 36. Let's try 36. And that's way too close together. So let's try 48. That looks pretty good there. I might want to change the text size down a little small bit again. Let's change it to say a 30. There. I think that looks pretty good. I want to capitalize the B in birthday. Okay. And I want to put happy birthday all on the one line. So I'll click at the end of birthday here, hit enter, delete that extra space there. Okay, I think Godfather needs to be on its own line. So I'll click at the end of Godfather, hit enter, and delete that extra space in front of ever. I'm going to make happy birthday a little bit bigger. So try a 36 for happy birthday and a 36 for Godfather. This is something you can play around with until it looks good to you. You're the one doing it, and you're the one that got to be happy with it. Okay, I'm going to put this line as well on its own separate spot. I'm just going to hit enter at the beginning of, that looks a little weird. Okay, so let's fix this up. Let's highlight this text, and we'll make that a little bit smaller. Try 24. Okay, and we'll make this a 24 too. We'll put a little bit of a space in between here. There, I think that looks lovely. So we still got this little line going around here. That's our rectangle that we set up to differentiate where we wanted our text placed. We can click on that now and hit delete. I'm going to take out ever. Kind of throws it off a little bit. There. Happy birthday to the most amazing Godfather. May your day be filled with happiness and surrounded by your loved ones. Thank you for being a constant source of love and support in my life. Okay, if you want it to, if you're making this for your very own Godfather, you can sign the card with the font as well. Okay, I think it's a little bit too wide. I'm going to just grab the handle here, and I'm going to scale it down a little bit. Okay, get my move tool, and I can center this back up within the side of the card. Okay, so when you have it directly in the center of your section here, it gives you the little pink vertical mark. And if you want, if it looks a little long to you, it takes up a little bit too much vertical space, hit Control T. You can make it not as long by holding your Shift key and dragging it up, and that'll compress it a little bit vertically. You don't want to do it too much because you don't want your letters to be squished. Okay, so I think that looks really good. Now I'm going to sign the card. So at the bottom, I'm going to use the same font, Pacifico Regular, in the same color. I'm going to sign it in a 36-point font. Oops, I already had that selected. So when you have your card set up exactly the way you want it, you can sign your card. So to do that, you just hit your text tool. Click somewhere off the existing text so that it doesn't mistakenly update that. This is set to a 2.88. We want that at a 36. Okay, so there you go. It gives us a little bit of mumbo jumbo words here. So we'll just drag that down where we want it. It might be a little big. Let's double click it, change it to 24. And we're going to sign the card. So I'm going to say love. From your godchild. Lori. I don't like the capital L on this, but I'll just go with it. Probably I'll change this to a different script font. Script font that I really like is Auckland Hills. I've discovered that recently, and it's very, very nice. Okay. Love from your godchild. Drag that to where you think it looks good. There. What do you think of that? I think that's gorgeous. Now, if it was my godfather's birthday, I'd print that out and I'd give it to him and he'd be very happy.